I was 13 when I realized my parents treated me differently than my sister. At first, it was small things. She got new clothes while I got hand-me-downs. She got a phone at 12, but I had to wait until 15. Then came my art show. I'd spent months working on my painting, staying up late every night to make it perfect. Mom promised she'd come, but that morning, my sister had a minor headache. Mom stayed home with her, missing my biggest moment. The real punch came during college applications. My sister got a fancy laptop and SAT prep classes. Me, Mom said, maybe community college is more your speed. When I found their tax papers in the office, my hands started shaking. They'd spent my college fund on my sister's horse riding lessons and a summer program in Europe. The paper showed they'd emptied my account 3 years ago, right when they told me to work harder for college. That night, I packed my bags. My aunt had always seen how they treated me, and she offered me a place to stay. She'd been sending me small amounts of money since I was 15, helping me build a secret savings account. As I walked out, Mom just said, don't forget to take out the trash before you go. 2 years later, my sister dropped out of college, saying it was too stressful, and she needed to find herself. Suddenly, my parents started calling, asking me to help the family, but I'd learned something important. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Now I'm graduating with honors, and my aunt's sitting in the front row. My parents sent cards saying they're proud, but I sent it back unopened. Turns out the family disappointment just needed someone to believe in them. My daughter's teacher laughed when I asked her to stop flirting with my son, so I got her fired. I never thought I'd have to protect my kids from their own teacher, but here we are. It started when my son turned 16. Ms. Roberts, his new English teacher, would always keep him after class to discuss his work. At first, I didn't think much of it. Then my daughter, who was in her class too, started noticing things. Mom, she touches his arm a lot, she told me one day, and she gives him these looks that make everyone uncomfortable. My stomach dropped. I watched my son become quieter, more withdrawn. I scheduled a meeting with Ms. Roberts. When I brought up my concerns, she laughed it off. Oh, you're one of those paranoid moms, she said, rolling her eyes. Your son's nearly an adult. That's when I pulled out my phone. My daughter had been recording everything. The lingering touches, the inappropriate comments, the way Ms. Roberts would accidentally brush against him. The smile fell from her face. I went straight to the principal. He tried to minimize it, called it a misunderstanding, so I posted the videos online. Within hours, other students came forward with similar stories. The school board called an emergency meeting. Ms. Roberts was fired the next day. My son's back to his old self now, but sometimes I catch myself wondering how many other teachers get away with this, because sometimes being a paranoid mom means being the only one willing to protect your kids.
She dumped me with, "We'll always be friends though." I replied, "Absolutely." Weeks later, she found out friendship didn't include rent money, emotional support, or car repairs, especially once I started dating her roommate. The end of our 2-year relationship happened Tuesday night. Amber sat me down on the couch and delivered some recycled nonsense about needing to find herself, how she felt creatively stifled, how the relationship didn't inspire her anymore. Her tone was fake soft, but her eyes were already somewhere else, probably with that guy from her painting class who wore scarves in July. Then she hit me with it. "We'll always be friends though." I didn't flinch. I smiled. Absolutely. She lit up like she'd pulled off the smoothest breakup in history. Freedom unlocked, safety net secured, no more commitment, but hey, still access to Jake whenever her car made a weird noise or she needed help setting up her IKEA bookshelves. She had no clue I was done playing utility boyfriend. "As your friend," I said, standing up, "you should start looking for someone to take over my half of the rent. I'll be out by the weekend." That wiped the smirk right off her face. "What? You're moving out?" "Yeah, you dumped your boyfriend, not your roommate? That's not how this works. You can't just leave. I don't have anyone lined up. I can't afford this place alone. I'll pay my half for the rest of the month," I said, grabbing my keys. "After that, either get someone new or split the lease break fee. I'm cool with either." She stared at me like I just told her rent was now paid in blood. "You're seriously just going to abandon me?" I shrugged. "We're friends now, right? Friends don't live together unless they split the bills." Right on cue, Maya walked in, our roommate. She worked crazy hours as a vet tech and avoided Amber's drama like it was airborne. She took one look at the living room. Amber pointed. "He's leaving me." Just like that, Maya looked at me, then Amber. "You dumped him. This isn't complicated," and walked to her room. Amber followed me around all night after that, pulling out every trick in the book. Crying, guilt trips, fake nostalgia. "You're really throwing away everything?" "As your friend," I said, taping up a box. "I support your journey." Once I moved out, she started stress calling. First, it was the electricity. "Jake, the power's out. You need to come fix it. Did you check the breaker box?" "I'm not touching that. It looks dangerous." "Then call emergency maintenance." "That costs money." "As your friend, I think your safety is worth the fee." Click. Then came her car making a weird noise. "Sounds like you need a mechanic. Can't you just come look at it?" "I don't live there anymore." "You're really not going to help me?" "I'm your friend, not your boyfriend. Call AAA." And just like that, the reality of her new status started sinking in. I didn't say no. I just never said yes. Meanwhile, Maya and I started texting. It started casual. Then Buster, her dog, got sick. Needed the emergency vet. She didn't have a car. Amber was off somewhere, finding herself. "I'll drive," I texted. 4 hours in the waiting room turned into talking about everything. Law school, car restoration, dumb Amber stories. She had the kind of dry humor that catches you off guard and makes you laugh harder than you should. I liked her a lot. We kept hanging out. I fixed her car. She made dinner. It wasn't serious until it was. No fireworks, just the kind of steady, easy vibe I never had with Amber. 2 months later, Amber finally found a new roommate. Some kid fresh out of college who needed a room and had no idea what he was walking into. I had to go sign the lease transfer. Maya came with me. We had dinner plans after. Amber was playing hostess in the living room, loud and fake happy. I signed the last paper. Maya stood next to me. As I handed the pen back, she reached out and slid her fingers through mine. Amber saw it. Her mouth froze mid-sentence. She didn't say anything. Didn't need to. You could feel the temperature drop. She stared at our hands like someone had flipped her world upside down. The guy she dumped, the guy who paid the bills, fixed the car, made the coffee, was gone. And his replacement, the girl who lived next door the whole time, the one she never thought twice about. 6 weeks later, new roommate moved out in the middle of the night. Left a note. "I'd rather couch surf." Amber got evicted. Last anyone heard, she was back in her childhood bedroom, working part-time at a bookstore and reposting Instagram quotes about healing. She tried blaming me and Maya for everything. No one listened. Most people didn't even remember we dated. Now Maya and I live together. New house, big yard, 2-car garage. Buster rules the place like he owns it. Maya passed the bar. I'm expanding the shop. We split everything 50-50. Amber said, "We'll always be friends." She was right, and that friendship wrecked her whole life.
I discovered my daughter's secret notebook, and what I read changed everything. My 13-year-old Emma had been acting strange. She'd skip dinner, stay in her room, and barely talk. Her teachers called about missing assignments, and she quit the volleyball team she loved. One day, while cleaning her room, I found a small blue notebook hidden under her mattress. I know I shouldn't have looked, but I was worried sick. The first page made my heart stop. It was a list of foods with numbers next to them. Below that, in shaky handwriting, goal weight 85 pounds. Next to it were crossed out photos of models from magazines, with notes saying, not good enough. My own memories came flooding back. At her age, I struggled with the same thing. The secret dieting, the shame, the hours spent comparing myself to others. I remembered how my mom's silence only made everything worse. That night, instead of confronting her, I left my old middle school photos on her bed with a note. You're beautiful, just like I was. And just like me, you might not see it yet. Let's talk when you're ready. I've been exactly where you are. The next morning, Emma came to breakfast with red eyes and hugged me tight. Mom, she whispered, I think I need help. When she showed me the notebook, I saw myself in every word, every crossed out meal, every harsh self-criticism. Now, 6 months later, Emma's in therapy and doing better. But the biggest change? We talk, really talk, about everything. Yesterday, she threw that blue notebook in the trash and smiled. Mom, she said, I finally feel like enough. Sometimes the scariest secrets lead to the most important conversations.